Yo,
Yeah.
we're live, I think.
Well, let's take a look.
So we might need to check that YouTube.
Let's see what we got here. Bear with me, because, again, my computer does not like your Wi-Fi back here.
Maybe I can find it on my phone real quick.
Yeah.
What I do know is it was a pain in the ass getting this thing going this time.
Well,
For some reason, it kept crashing.
we're here. That's all that matters.
We are here. And we might be live. We are live.
Yeah, unavailable. My computer. And this is a newer computer.
Back here. Maybe I can find it on my phone real quick.
Here we go.
All right.
Sweet.
So I'm going to turn this down real quick. Then we'll go over to the screen grab.
All right.
Interact. We need to just bullshit talk for a second. See if it kicks a little volume up. Here we go. We'll go over to the screen grab. All right, busy.
We're live.
We're live and we're rolling.
All right.
It's always a thrilling start when we have to triple check things. And,
Technical glitches.
yeah,
What are you going to do?
But this is going to probably be the third podcast in a row without a glitch. We call that a winning streak.
Yeah. Giants happen to be on the same winning streak, 3 in a row.
Yo, what's this I hear about? You know, the wild card is in reach?
Oh, man. So I was called. What did Phil say to me the other night? Stop smoking that Mile High stuff or whatever.
Well, as I light up.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. I love the Giants. I will never root for the Giants to lose if it means getting a better draft position. I understand the logic behind that thought, but I'm a Giants fan. I root for my team to win. I don't care what our record is. And this has been a dismal season from the start. Tommy Colcutt has given us a little bit of life, a little bit of energy. Does that mean we have a good team? I don't believe so. Have we played better the last few weeks? Yes. We've won games in the most ugly of ways.
And did you see the breaking news? Darren Waller designated to return?
Darren Waller is practicing today.
Look at that.
Today's Thursday, December 14th.
So he's probably not playing this week.
Probably not. Never know.
Well, you guys play Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the Saints.
Okay.
But it's a good sign, and per my text in the group chat is that regardless of our record, this winning streak, if nothing else, the guys that are on the team right now, majority of them will probably be back on the roster next year. It's building some camaraderie, some confidence going into next season. This is not a Super Bowl team. This is not a playoff team. So people talking about one game out of a playoff spot, like, come on. Temper your expectations a little bit. We have an undrafted rookie quarterback who seems to be balling right now. I understand why you would want to compare, Tommy Colcutt and the Italian, I guess ride that we're on right now, to Linsanity and what happened with the Knicks.
Sure.
But it's a little different. I think it's actually very different. First of all, Linsanity was, Jeremy Lin was, Jeremy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was he's already been in the league. He had already played professional basketball. He's not a rookie. Second, he's Asian, right? There's no taking that away from him.
He is definitely Asian.
And it's not a negative. It's just there's a big difference when you talk about the Italian population in that tri-state area compared. There's a lot of Asian folk too, but
Chinatown.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. But the amount of Italians that are Giants fans versus the amount of Asians that are basketball fans or even Knicks fans at that time, he probably converted a lot, but I don't know. I don't see the comparison. I see the idea that the city's rallying around an unknown player who's leading the team in New York. 2 wins, I don't know. I look, I enjoy watching good football. RJ said it. We're not the Eagles. We're not the Cowboys, and those are the 2 teams we're always going to be compared to.
Sure.
We're just not on that level. We get a chance to play the Eagles twice in the last 4 games, so we'll see how that goes. Actually, twice out of the last 3. We play the Saints, and then we play the Eagles. So, as long as we don't get our ass beat like we have against the Cowboys twice this year, I would say that the team is improved. And that's all I wanted to see. Yes. Did I have higher expectations coming into the season? Absolutely. Is Daniel Jones our quarterback of the future? Absolutely not. He is not. Is Tommy DeVito? No. I don't think he is either. Ride the wave. Enjoy the good times. Maybe end this season on a high note. Maybe crash back down to earth. Either way, it gave us, a little something to root for compared to where we began the season.
Sure.
So that's all. And that's kind of what I was trying to express in our group chat. Nothing saying that we're a playoff team, that's for sure. Not saying we're a Super Bowl team. Not saying Tommy DeVito is the quarterback of the future. Not saying that the Giants are even a good team. I'm just enjoying watching the Giants play. For the first time all year.
Season? Yeah.
Coming in with high expectations. You've seen the group chat. You knew the chatter coming in July, August, early September.
I bit my tongue.
Yeah. I thought we were a playoff team coming into the season. First couple weeks, my my thoughts were crushed. I knew we weren't good. Whether that's coaching and preparation, I don't know. Maybe it was our schedule. We had a really tough schedule coming out to shoot.
Yeah, for sure. Yo. All right.
So anyways, enough Giants talk. Won 3 in a row. We got something to feel good about. On to next season.
Sure.
Yep. Right on.
All right. And we're on to our next regular season in Strictly Business.
Yes. Yeah. It's a season I'd like to forget. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Winning the division. It's a huge feather in your cap. You had a great season. You got some good matchups. You got some guys that are getting healthy.
Mm-hmm. Which is a rarity right now. Jesus Christ.
Right time of year. Absolutely. That's huge. I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel about your chances? I mean, you got the 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
So you have a bye.
Week 15, I'm feeling great.
Well, can't lose.
And we'll talk a little more about that stuff in the playoff previews, but I'm feeling really good.
Good. As you should. You're the 2 seed. You want to buy.
Right. I'm 1 win away from the championship game.
Yep.
And
into the money.
Into the money.
Already even on the season because you won 250 and winning the division.
Yep.
So you win a week and now you're up money.
And just to note, it's fairly regarded that RJ and Norm are among the best GMs in the league.
Sure, absolutely.
RJ nudged me in the division last year by points.
You guys tied?
Yep. And I nudged Norm this year by points.
Wow.
Okay. Not trying to sound like Nicky, but put a little respect on my name.
Yeah, well, hey, what goes around comes around in fantasy. We all have seasons that don't work out the way we want, and then we all have seasons where everything we touch turns to gold. I think Nick's on that ride this year.
Yeah.
We can talk shit all you want about his opponents not scoring points, and sometimes, hey, that's all a part of it. Is a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
And a little bit of misfortune from the guys that you're playing.
But no, man, I mean, this dude swindled Norm not once, but twice out of Tyreek Hill, and then he gave up Debo in the Tyreek deal.
Got him back.
And then he came back for Debo. I went back and looked at that trade. Can I remind you what that trade was?
Please do.
That was Dalton Kincaid and Debo Samuel for Adam Thielen.
No way.
Dead ass.
Wow.
Look it up.
Nah, I take your word for it.
Now,
Norm was drinking the juice.
In that light, Nick, yeah, you have definitely improved a lot as a player since I came into the league. And, there's that. But yeah, you still got that schedule thing to get over in my mind this year.
Yeah, but why are you going to fault him?
I don't fault him, but the pounding of the chest, look at respect me, like
sure.
And this year, I would just, if I were in his position, I would be quietly, humbly, going through my
enjoying,
right?
Yeah.
I sent you a text the other day. I've lost 5 games this year. In 4 of the games I've lost, I've scored more points than Nick has played against this year. Oh, maybe I didn't send that text to you.
No, I didn't.
I definitely sent it to Dave.
Yeah.
I scored more than 136.14 in 4 of my 5 losses. So,
wow.
I think Nick might have a rude awakening coming because it's the playoffs and we do have the best of the best now.
Mm-hmm. So, absolutely, he got the 1 seed. He's earned it. Whether
100%.
Schedule
and
his team has blown up the last few weeks.
He texted me. He's like, "Yeah, I'll see you in a couple of weeks." I was like, "Cool. I'm putting up more than 140."
Yeah,
right. So,
there you go.
Yeah,
that would be a good final. I'd love to see that final. So with that being said, guys, our apologies. We didn't put out a podcast last week going into the final game of the regular season. As some of you may or may not know, I'm the director of operations for a company called Mail Management Services, and that's what we do. We hustle mail.
Yeah. So
this month,
I'm assuming you guys might be a little busier than normal right now.
It's So this month is like putting 3 months into 1 month of work. Months of work.
Oh, I get it.
Into 1 month. Where certainly the volume increases, the post office puts out additional routes because of the increased volume. And, for me personally, I usually have all routes covered, and I'm the emergency driver.
Right.
God forbid something happens. A lot of my guys have families, or even if they don't, something happens. I'm the emergency driver. That's why I'm on call.
If you got 3 times the work, you're going to have 3 times the problem.
Right. So I'd hired a couple new drivers, and one specifically, for lack of better words, he fucked me. A couple days before I needed him to start. And so, in the amount of short notice, I didn't have time to find coverage, and this route starts at 3:30 in the morning. So I'm getting up at 2:30 in the morning. I'm out of the house by 3 a.m. Get to the yard. About 20 minutes later, I have to do a pre-trip inspection. Then get to the post office. Load the truck. Run the route. I usually get done anywhere between 8:30 and 9 a.m., depending on traffic and how heavy that load is that day. Then I get home, and I still have my managerial supervising, work to do, my computer work, where everything we do is tracked. We have electronic logging systems in each of our trucks.
Yeah.
We have cameras in every one of our trucks. And then it's called load management. So everything we ship is tracked, not only by the post office, but by us. Mm-hmm. So in our tracking software, I have to input the truck number, the driver, and then I have to track everything and input notes as to why a driver was late. So like every route that we're running right now, I have to have eyes and visibility on. So over the last 2 weeks, I've been working. The least amount of hours I worked in a single day was 10. The most I worked one day was 16 hours. So between 10 and 16 hours every day, 7 days a week for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, fuck, even on Sunday?
Yeah, on Sunday. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's been crazy. It's that time of year, dude.
Is there a point in time you're not doing Sundays?
So
is that just like from Thanksgiving to Christmas?
So before we went on the air here, I told you that corporate's flying out a driver literally today.
Yeah.
So I will not be driving.
Okay.
Which means most of my work will just be computer, tracking and all that, and then last minute coverage if necessary, emergency coverage. So Sunday morning I'll be able to get up, check all of my tracking, input all of my logs, and then just play defense and hope nothing goes wrong on Sunday so I can watch some football. This past Sunday, like I said, I got home about 9 in the morning, and out here football kicks off at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to eat some breakfast, chill out, had the laptop on my lap, watching games. And then handling phone calls. And working with the post office is such a pleasure. And I say that with the most sarcasm possible.
They're government workers that are worked thin and don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's a communication barrier because a lot of them that work there are not born in the United States. And then English is not their first language. And so I have 2 direct contacts. One that handles the morning. They're called transportation specialists. They handle the morning. And then I have another guy that comes in at like 2 in the afternoon and goes till 10 p.m. And both of them have language challenges at times.
Sure.
So, again, long-winded apology as to, like, you hit me up and you're like, hey, the only time I have available is 9 p.m. I'm like, that will not work for me. I have to be up at 2:30.
Oh, yeah,
I'm coming off of, like, a 14-hour day today. It's just not going to work.
Right. And you suggested Dave and I knock it out, and I was like, man, I love you, but this is a project we started.
Sure.
This is something we're going to do. If we can't do it because of something with me, whatever. If we can't do it because of something with you, no problem.
Sure. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It could have been done with Dave. It just would have been a better, or not better, it would have been a different show.
Definitely a little different.
Sure.
Definitely.
Sure.
I don't like carrying this anymore.
I know. I hear you. So, that's why we're recording. Like I got to your house at 9:45 this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is my window to do this today.
Yo.
Because after we get out of here, I have a conference call. I have another meeting at 2:30, and then I have to meet that driver who's flying in around 4:30.
Right.
Give him the lay of the land, and then just hand off those responsibilities.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you saw I'm almost done with my eBay packaging.
Yeah. You're killing it right now, huh?
Sent out about 100 this week.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And you're a one man crew, or do you have help?
Oh, one-man crew, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just pushing it.
That time of year, dude.
It is that time of year.
Sleigh bells are ringing.
For sure.
It's awesome. So, anyways, going into last week, the last week of the regular season, obviously the division matchups, right?
Yeah. Ooh. Man, it was so weird for me. There were ways that things played out. Obviously, it worked to my advantage where I ended up as the 2 seed. Things could have played out completely different. I'd have been RJ outside looking in.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, there's a few matches this past week that had tremendous meaning. There's a couple that didn't mean shit, but let's roll through a Week 14 recap. We can kind of recap the season, and then we're going to go into a playoff preview. Yeah. We're not going to preview the consolation, what we call the losers bracket, the toilet bowl, whatever you want to call it.
14.
Loser bowl. We're not going to spend too much time with that, but
Week 14. Sorry, I'm rusty.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I want to start with my matchup.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Just fell apart. 4-7 to now 4-10. Lost 3. I was 0-6 against my division this year. So
that's rough.
4-4 against the rest of the league, though. I don't know if that means anything. I don't. This is a season to forget.
For sure.
Ricky was making fun of me. He's like, it's interesting because, Biz, when you have...
It's not good when you're starting the Pastronaut, dude.
Yeah, well, that was a shot in the dark, and I was texting with Jeff about that. I was like, dude, Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and then who's the kid out of Cincinnati?
Browning.
Yeah, all 3 of them, great weeks. Not that I would have...
One guy you chose.
Not that I would have won. Not that I would have won, but it probably would have given me another 20 to 25 points on the week.
I mean, Flacco had almost 30, right?
Oh, he had 30. I think he had 30.
Jesus.
Yeah, over 300 yards, multiple touchdowns. Started Dobbs because it was in Vegas, Dome. Thought, hey, Jefferson's back. That was another reason, right? Yeah. The rushing yards.
He tried to murder Justin Jefferson.
He practically did. Yeah, he laid him out. Left them for dry.
Yeah.
So
I'm really crying while I look like I'm laughing.
yeah, and then the whole Fields situation with that Detroit game. So I was telling you how I've been doing pretty well over the last few weeks betting games.
Yeah.
And I went all in on Detroit. All in. Even live betted the money line.
Oh.
Because Detroit was down and the money line jumped up to plus money. Yeah, I lost like $400 on that game.
Way to go, Lions.
Yeah, they fucking crushed me. Now, I ended up reversing my tides because I did a parlay with the Broncos and the Bills. They both won money lines.
Yeah.
So that paid out huge. And I forget the Cowboys, Sunday night. I went in hard. They were minus 3.5. I got them at minus 3, but it closed at minus 3.5. I went in heavy on the Cowboys. So I ended up making money on the day, but fuck the Lions. Fuck the Lions. Anyways, so Fields had a solid day. A lot of that happened in the second half. Breece Hall, another one. He had a solid day. Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things. 17 carries, 34 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like, come on. Spears, he did a lot of that in the last, 3 minutes of that game. A lot of that.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb had a solid day. Pittman, touchdown, or excuse me, 2-point conversion. Metcalf was held in check. Yeah, and then the Saints D. That was a crusher. I saw that matchup going against Carolina, and I was like, I just want Carolina to score. And they got stopped twice in the red zone, held the field goals. I knew my day was fucked.
Yeah.
2 fumbles, and a touchdown. They had a block punt, too, on that. Yep. What's going on outside?
I don't know. I'm going to go put him in real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
So, carry on.
Well, I'll carry on as much as I can. I'll say, Jeff, congratulations on a hard-fought battle. I was going to say to John, this was do or die for you, buddy. Sitting at 8-5, must-win situation. Certainly we were chatting about RJ's game because RJ, had he won and you lost, you would be the one on the outside looking in at 8-6. Fortunately, though, you played my team this week. My team didn't really put up much of a fight all year. I want to say 145 points was the most my team scored this year. So, again, this is a season to forget. Jeff, congratulations. You slip in to the playoffs. I believe you're the 6th seed. I'll have to wait for John to come back. Everything's set? Everything's settled out there?
I gave him a cow dick. He'll be entertaining the rest of the show.
All right. I was just congratulating Jeff and telling everybody about how Jeff was in a win-or-go-home situation because RJ won, and had RJ and Jeff both been 8-6, Jeff would be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. RJ came through the huge day. I mean, we'll get there. But
Yeah. Just real quick, the other game that really did not matter was the Chiefs Kingdom and Joe Cool.
Okay.
Chiefs Kingdom edges out Joe Cool 121.74 to 117.26. Both teams are now 4-10. There's really not much that we have to spend on this, do we?
Nope.
121 one a week. All right. Let's go to RJ's matchup then. 184.74 against Just a Tip, 129.14. And this was huge because RJ, again, he was in a do-or-die, win-or-go-home.
Yep.
No one saw him winning and still going home.
Yeah.
Beat Phil, who also finishes the season at 8-6, but because of the point tiebreaker on the season.
Because RJ still, even with the fantastic week, I think was still 200 points behind Phil. Right?
Was it that far?
Yeah, it was pretty far. Phil had 2,100. I don't know that RJ hit 1,900.
Yeah, RJ's got 2018.
2018.
Yeah, so it was 114 points. 114 points. Not that big of a difference
No,
over the course
not
of 14
over the course
weeks.
of a season,
Yeah.
right? Exactly.
And
Great
keep in
game.
mind, Phil had the most points in the league.
Yeah.
So RJ scored 114 points shy of the most in the league.
Uh-huh.
Finishes 8-6
Uh-huh.
and is still
Well, so did the guy who scored the most points in the league.
out of the playoffs. Yeah, but my point is, it was
Out of the playoffs.
like
yeah.
RJ
Oof.
overall had a great season.
Yeah.
Statistically,
Yeah.
you'd think 8-6 with over 2,000 points in the regular season
That
in a
should
down year for
That
points.
should get you in.
That should get you in.
Yeah.
But because other teams finished 9-5, the league was top heavy this year for sure. An
Yeah.
8-6 team with 2,000 points doesn't get into the playoffs.
That's-
It's just mind-boggling.
That's crazy, dude.
Mind-boggling. Yeah. RJ put up 184.74 in this game with Herbert under a point, 0.84. Gus Edwards, one of his starting backs, with 1.5. So out of two players, your quarterback especially, you end up with 2.34 points. 2.3 points out of two guys.
And he
his
still
team
puts up 183.
put up 184. 180, almost
Jesus.
185, which is insane. McCaffrey had a solid day. DJ Moore had a good game.
Yeah.
He only had 4.7 out of Cooks, and he's still 27 out of Ingram, 23.5 out of Zeke, Aubrey with kicker, and then that Minnesota game. I don't know how much of that game you watched. I didn't watch any of it.
It was gross.
I saw the one final field goal at the end.
Yeah.
3-0. That would have been
They
the.
said that was the longest an NFL game had carried a 0-0 score.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I know that if they had gone into overtime at 0-0, that would have been the first time in NFL history, which is wild. Wild. Fortunately for Phil, he gets into the playoffs, not a huge week, 129.14 for our top point scorer on the season. He's 8-6. That earns him a place in the playoffs. But he's got to play this week, and he's got some injuries.
And his division. Yeah.
Yeah, he won the division. So Phil's up $100 after getting his league fee washed with the division. Call Me Champ, 126.24. Special Ed Sharp, 102.62. I got to say, Rich, thank you for being in the league this year. Appreciate it. I know it's been a difficult road for you at 3-11.
My boy lost Nick Chubb week 1.
But had Rich not been in the league, I'd be in last place. So
there's that.
There's that. That's really where this is coming from.
Gotcha.
Call Me Champ, 9-5. Again, a must-win scenario because had Norm lost, Norm would be on the outside looking in at 8-6.
Yep.
Really, there's not a lot to break down. Jared Goff, how bad has he been, dude? Like 4 points.
Yeah. Not great.
What's going on with Detroit?
We'll talk about that later because
Yeah, you got a lot of Detroit.
I got a
fans.
lot of hopes riding on that team.
Sure. Eckler. Ugh.
Yeah, but he looked decent for the first time in a long time.
He looked better. That's true.
And maybe he just took that much longer to get back from his high ankle. The older you are, the harder that injury is to come back from.
True. But now no Herbert rest of the season.
Yeah.
Doesn't. They're going to rely on him a lot more. That's one thing's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Cooper
Kupp, great game.
Yep.
Nico Collins got hurt early
Yep.
in that game. I think it was on his first catch, and he ended up with one catch for 13.
Calvin Ridley.
Up and down all
Yeah.
year. 13 targets. Is that right?
Yeah.
Holy.
Zay Jones had 14 targets.
Yeah. Zay's a beast.
And then Ingram, we talked about with RJ, had a bunch too.
Yeah.
Drake London, how about that?
Yeah, monster day. Monster day. Ritter had over 300 yards passing, too. I think he ended up with like 370 passing or 340, something crazy. That game was wild.
And I just want to say thank you, Jesus, for Will Levis coming through in the second half of that game.
Oh, Yeah.
putting the Miami D back in check. Because like, I texted Norm earlier on Monday, and I was like, man, I wish this would be over by now. He's like, dude, it's over. Get out of here. And I was like, nah, man. Crazy shit can happen. The Giants could have a day. Giants had a day. And, Will Levis could just be the way Will Levis has been, right? They throw a pick six to start the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so thank you for coming through in the second half, Will Levis.
Right after Tua fumbled. Miami's going in. Tua fumbles the snap.
Yeah.
Goes to try to pick it up and continue the play. Doesn't get possession of the ball, and Tennessee recovers. And you're like, oh, okay, this is amazing. Fucking, was it the first play or second play? They're trying to run a screen, and Levis just throws it right into the D tackle or D lineman. He takes 2 steps and just runs him over into the end zone. Credit Levis. He tried to make a tackle. He threw his shoulder into him at least, even though he's a yard deep in the end zone. Levis is wild, man. I like it.
Yeah, he is.
What do you think about the end of that game? Did you watch it?
I did not.
No.
I actually had a business meeting that evening.
Okay.
So
the Giants game had ended a little earlier
Yep.
than that. So
I was paying attention as closely as I could.
Sure. So Tennessee was driving on the first drive, and I saw them score, and then they went for the 2-point conversion to make it a 6-point game. And then stuff them 3 and out, get the ball back. Mind you, Tennessee had no timeouts on either of those drives.
Right.
Drive down the field again, punch it in with a little over a minute to go, and I'm like, shit, Miami still has 2 timeouts. It's like a minute and a half or something.
Yeah.
A lot of time for Tua.
Yeah.
But with Tyreek being hurt, and he was in and out of the game, that just shows you how important Tyreek is.
And I heard he was out at the end, right?
Yeah, on first down, they put him in on second down, or second or third down, I think. He did play 1 play on that final drive because they had 4 plays. That was
right.
It was a 4 and out. But
right.
it just shows you how important he is. Braxton Berrios is not Tyreek Hill. It's news at 11 alert. Right there for you.
Yeah, no shit.
Tyreek, man, I mean, there should be some votes for him being MVP, especially this year where there's no clear-cut quarterback that's number one. Yeah, Dak's having, he's doing well, but Hurts at one point was doing well.
Yeah, it was Hurts first half, Dak
Josh Allen was having, some games here and there and putting team on his back. McCaffrey as well. I really think you take McCaffrey off of San Francisco, or you take Tyreek off of Miami.
Completely different teams.
Yeah. I don't know.
But McCaffrey, but they're in perfect places.
Yeah.
Like, both of them.
Absolutely. All
right.
So, okay. So, the 2 games that were really, really big, that loomed large, Donation Station 138.54, The Prime Effect 105.64.
Yeah.
What was working for you? I mean, it starts right at the top, of course.
Lamar had a big day. Been a minute, but came through 300.
And that was a wild game too.
Yeah, plus 70 yards rushing. And how about my boy Rachaad White?
Yeah.
This dude is the number 5 back in the league. Number 5.
Is he really?
Look at that. Number 5.
Wow.
And this dude has been the model of consistency over the year.
Catches mad balls. He only had 2 catches in this game, but one was a touchdown.
Yep. And then Monty and Gibbs got me at 25. My wide receivers, Nakua had a decent game. Jefferson got knocked out. Devonta Smith was kind of quiet. So
how did that Jalen Warren for Reed work out for you?
Yeah, that was fucking fantastic. Yeah.
So John hits me up Thursday.
I literally should have gone the other way with it. It's like, Biz says Warren. I definitely need to be going Reed.
Well, no, I did say that if Watson was out, Reed. I did say that. I said that changes things.
It changes things, but, we were still looking at a hobbled, did not practice all week Najee. Anyway. Yeah, it worked out smashingly.
And Pittsburgh was playing New England. The over-under in that game was 30.
Right.
And New England came out and looked good. Well, at least competitive, and got a win.
Yeah. So that would have been 10 more points, but I mean, I love Dave, but Dave was out of it pretty early. C.J. Stroud and got hurt. Right. Noah Brown had a 0.
Christian Watson was out.
Yeah.
He's
Oddly enough, his best player was Nook, DeAndre Hopkins.
What do you know? What do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he sat the Broncos D playing the Chargers, but you can't expect Herbert to get hurt in the first half.
Right.
They put up 26 in comparison to the Houston Texans, who flopped. And that was a weird weather game. It was cold. It was wet. Stroud got knocked out late in that game. I don't know. I feel for Dave. Dave put himself in a position to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wasn't he 6-5?
I
I think he's lost 3 straight, if I'm not mistaken.
He's definitely lost 2 straight.
Yeah.
But yeah,
his team faded hard in the second half of the season. Let's just start there.
And I mean, that's going to be a consistent thing until he learns to let go of things at the top of their value from time to time. Mm-hmm. You got to sell high. That's part of buying low is one thing. Selling the high is the other. And
no one saw Lamar Jackson with darn near 42 points to C.J. Stroud, who's the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, with only 3.64. Granted, the Jets have a great defense, and you have to account for weather this time of year, December, in New Jersey. It was cold, it was rainy, and it was windy.
Right.
And Stroud didn't look right from the start. And then we already talked about Nico Collins got injured on the very first play. Tank Dell got hurt last week. Those are his 2 top receivers. And Stroud certainly was affected by that.
Yeah.
Going against a top 10 defense on the road.
Yep.
And he flopped for him. Not that would have changed things. He would have needed 33 more points to beat you. But point being is Stroud for Jackson. Matter of fact, you flip-flop that.
Yeah.
He wins this week. So,
sure.
Anyhow, what are you gonna do? But then he wouldn't have had no.
He wouldn't have been in the playoffs anyway because he was 7-7.
Yeah, good point. 7-7 is crazy. 500 doesn't get you in this year. Normally it would.
Yeah.
8-6.
Like you said, very top heavy. I don't even know that we had a 7-7 team. I think everybody was either above 500 or below 500.
Yeah. Let's review this last game because this last game had division title for Skidmark's division on the line.
And number 1 overall seed.
You
win this game, you are a regular season champ.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a playoff game for 2 top teams in our league. Cave Bitch Nick, 138.62. It's not like his team blew up. Carl's team laid an egg.
What do you know?
Yeah. Carl's team goes as Hurts and A.J. Brown go.
Yeah.
Certainly the last 2 weeks have not been great for Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Amon-Ra, very, very quiet day.
Which was surprising. Amon-Ra, I saw him drop the ball a couple times. You don't see that, ever. One time he slipped. It was a big 4th down when Detroit was trying to come back. And he slipped and he was falling. But even then, I still see him catch that ball. I feel for Carl. Carl got domed. Remember a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Dom put it out there in the group chat. Carl's got the team to beat. Carl's the team to beat.
Yep.
And the last 3 weeks have been a challenge for Carl. He hasn't put up monster numbers. He was putting up 190s consistently for like 6 weeks there.
Right.
It's 175 was a given. And then now Norm has done it to Phil. And it was last week Norm did it to Phil. And what did Phil score this week? Like 100 points.
130.
No. 129.
129.
I stand corrected.
Yeah. But he got destroyed by RJ.
Yeah.
But Phil had been doing that every week. He broke the fucking high score for the week recently.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, so he might have another $100 coming his way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is a reminder to keep setting your lineups because high week does go through week 17. Week 17 will count. So we touched on the Deebo Samuel. He's just been a monster of late.
No doubt, right?
League winner.
100% league winner.
Balances out Gabe Davis.
Does balance out Gabe Davis. And it's crazy.
It's really 20 points, 18
what did Adam Thielen get this week for Norm? Call me champ.
Yeah, take a look.
Adam Thielen. Not in the starting lineup. Oh, did he get traded again?
I believe so, yeah.
All right.
I have no idea what team Adam Thielen's on.
If I had to guess, Ryan.
I was going to say Ryan, for sure. There he is.
There he is, 9.9 points.
Okay, not terrible.
No, but the combination of Deebo Samuel and Dalton Kincaid,
yeah,
41 points.
Yeah.
37 of it from Deebo.
On top of the fact that Kincaid is a connect to his quarterback, Josh Allen.
Right.
Which, it's like, Norm, what were you thinking in that deal?
A couple of times a year, there's just like head scratchers that Norm sends out.
Yeah. Norm made some really good moves this year. I was the victim in a few of those. However, that Deebo Samuel and the Tyreek Hill, early in the season, I couldn't believe he was dealing Tyreek to Nick.
Yeah.
The one Miami Dolphin fan in the league. You already know he's got a kung fu grip on Tyreek after that. No one's getting him.
Oh, I was so mad. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because I had offered JJ in a piece.
Yeah.
No, JJ and I wanted Tyreek in a piece.
I don't even remember what
Whatever it was.
I don't even remember what Norm got in the deal, but I'm sure Norm's kicking himself over.
No, it was Deebo and
that's right. Deebo was in.
Deebo and ETN.
Okay. So fair value, if you want to look at it like that. But Deebo wasn't what we've seen in the last couple weeks.
For sure.
Deebo's a man among
back
boys.
To where he was.
Even then some.
Yeah.
He's playing with a little chip on his shoulder because he got into that online beef, social media beef with the Eagles.
Oh shit! Did he?
Yeah. Well, this goes back to like last season, I think.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was like CJGJ or whatever the fucking name is, Gardner Johnson, who's now in Detroit and he's hurt. He's out for the season. But yeah, they got into online beef, and then maybe it was AJ Brown earlier this year with Deebo. So there's certainly a little rivalry building between the Eagles and San Francisco. And I don't know if you remember that game. Granted, it was 2 weeks ago, but the Eagles drove the ball down the field first two drives and ended up with field goals. So here it is, only 6-0, yet the Eagles seem to be controlling the game early there, like the first half of that first quarter.
Okay.
And then San Francisco came down, scored a touchdown, and then after that, it was like stop, touchdown, stop, touchdown. Next thing you know, the game's like a 20-point game. And you're like, what the hell just happened? And Philly couldn't come back, which was nuts because Philly seems like that team that when you think they're out, they always come back. Then, San Francisco's tough, man. They're a good team.
Yeah.
And then the Eagles going to Dallas this past weekend, and everyone thought that this is going to be a huge matchup, and Dallas just fucking did whatever they wanted. And that was from the jump. Like, the game wasn't close, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, Hurts was 18 of 27, 197 yards, 5 carries, 30 yards, and a crucial fumble. 8.88. You don't expect that. I don't know. Are the Eagles dead in the NFC?
Maybe.
Or does these two performances give them a little bit of an edge? Because if they win out and the Eagles have the easiest schedule in the last 4 weeks.
Did you talk about Bosa on social media last week?
No.
Because he said he came out after the Eagles game and was like, hey, Cowboys, I hope y'all were taking notes. We exposed how to shut them down.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Which, maybe they did take notes.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Quinn.
What it looked like.
Dan Quinn's one of the top defensive coordinators right now. And they've lost guys. injuries for the season and have not missed a beat.
Not at all.
But they have one of the best defensive players in all of football.
Mike Parsons.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a game wrecker. That being said, I don't think the Eagles are done, but it doesn't look good when you're two, comparable opponents that you're going to be battling it out with. The Eagles can still win the NFC East, and again, they have 4 games remaining, and they have the easiest schedule by far. The Eagles do. Whereas the Cowboys, I think they play the Bills this week, week 15.
Okay.
And that's in Buffalo. So that's a tough game.
Sure.
That's a tough game because Buffalo's on the way up. They had that week 13 bye, come out and win that game in Kansas City. They got a call. They got a favorable call. And I was watching that game because, again, I had money on the Bills. But I was surprised because throughout the game, I was like, wow, Kansas City's at home. That could be me vibrating too. Kansas City's at home, and Kansas City's not getting calls. And then, sure enough, the big call at the end with knucklehead Kadarius Toney.
My Lord. And then Patrick Mahomes throwing the goddamn fit about it? What
the
hell?
Well, I think part of that was the frustration he has for Kadarius Toney coming out. Because if you recall, they lost a game earlier this year where he threw a pass to Toney, and it, remember that meme, the picture?
God, yes.
It hit him right in the hands, and the ball right through his fucking hands. Interception. Yeah. And so
that's what it was, the picture of the hands, and it was like, imagine this play ended in a pick six for Mahomes.
Yeah. And they lost that game. So, and I can see the frustration from Mahomes because if you watch the Chiefs are always on, even out here, they're always on in that late window or prime time. So you see a lot of their games. And a lot of their offense is because Mahomes extends plays. It's not what Andy Reid is drawing up.
He's probably going to have to do one of them little contract renegotiations and give up a couple dollars and get a couple extra pieces in there.
The money's great, but Mahomes is set for life. He wants to win.
That's what I'm saying. Restructure the contract a little bit. Get a good veteran wide receiver.
I forget.
But why didn't they go for Nook?
Yeah.
Could you imagine Nook there?
I know.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they need a number one. Yeah. I love Rice, but he's a rookie. He's going to be great.
Yeah.
Because they missed on Sky Moore. They missed on Kadarius Toney. And Kelsey can't do it all.
Yeah, their defenses can zone in on him when there's no other target.
How incredible was that play, though? He catches the ball, 3 guys, are closing in, and in one motion, flicks the ball with his wrist, a perfect spiral right to Toney. Hit him in the number. He caught that one.
Apparently, he's got a history of doing this.
Yes.
So, that's kind of his.
It's not the first time.
Yeah. So would that have been a touchdown pass for Kelsey?
No, for Mahomes. It would have been a lateral. So the way I understand this, and I could be corrected, but there would be a reception, and then the reception in certain amount of yards for Kelsey until where he lateraled it to Kadarius Toney, and then that would be rushing yards for Toney and a rushing touchdown. Actually, then it wouldn't be passing touchdown as I talk about.
Yeah, okay. So Mahomes wouldn't get points for that.
I don't think so. He would get
the
yardage,
completion and yardage.
Let's say 30 yards or whatever it was, and then Kelsey laterals it to Toney, and then from that point forward, I believe it's rushing. I believe that's how it would be stat. The stats would be tracked on that one. But what an amazing play! Now my question is why don't more teams try plays like this?
I don't know, almost like it seemed like desperation, like, hey, you got your first down, now get down.
Yeah.
Where, that was this as clock was running out?
No, there was still a little over a minute to go. Probably like a minute 30 at that time.
Okay, it's still in the 2 minutes. Yeah, so...
It was their last drive, for sure.
Right.
But that would have put the Bills down and given the ball back to Josh Allen, who would have had a chance to eventually win the game, but what a huge play. Like, the wind was taken out of the air was bled out of this whole stadium. And that game was in Kansas City. That was crazy, man. I was watching that game. And again, I had money on the Bills, so I was like, no! They called a penalty. And I'm like, yeah! And then I understood afterwards, like, what really happened. I'm like, oh, man. And it's such a quirky call. And you saw the group chat. Like, yeah. Is it on the player? Is it on the ref?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It just added to Kadarius Toney's growing legend of failures.
He can't be in this league next year, right?
I don't know. He's so talented, but he's just such a rockhead. And he makes mistakes physically, too, which we've seen this year. Where, drop passes, fumbles, just...
Right.
It's funny because when he went to the Chiefs, everyone's like, oh, he's the next Tyreek Hill. I'm like, no, he's not.
Right.
One, because he's not going to work as hard as Tyreek. Tyreek Hill's gotten better every year, which isn't crazy to say.
Yeah.
He's gotten better every year. And I don't know if you've been watching the in-season Hard Knocks.
No.
Miami. You should check it out.
Okay.
Because it gives a little insight to Tyreek. He just got married this year during their bye week. He officially got married to his long-time fiance, and
good for him.
It's just like it's kind of like giving him, it's grounded him in a way.
Yeah.
Like work-life balance, because he said he used to be so into football that he'd carry it into his personal life. Now he's got other things going on to where when he gets home, football shuts off, and he's allowed to have that balance. And we all understand that, like, your mental makeup is so huge to how you perform physically.
Right.
Right. So, anyways, I'm a big Tyreek Hill fan. That's for sure. And I just hope he doesn't perform. He could do well this week, but not next week. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who they're playing. Doesn't matter. Just Tyreek, take a bye week 16.
For sure.
All right. So with that being said, let's break down the standings and the final standings of the season. Congratulations, Phil, on a great season. Finished first place in the Red Flags division and had the most points on the season, 2132.43. RJ, we already hit on it. Really poor luck, 8-6.
Yeah.
With over 2,000 points.
God, that's crazy.
And then 4-10, 4-10
points.
Yeah.
120 points, first place to out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. Crazy. And RJ had some monster weeks in there too, man.
Yeah, he did.
Which is nuts. Ricky and Ryan 4-10 each. Mediocreville. This is another battle where the division is broken down by a tiebreaker. 9-5 for you, John. Norm, 9-5. A difference of 33 points.
33 points.
33 points. And then look at the points against. You have 1901. He has 1908. You can't get closer than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Dave was the closest to 500 on the season at 6-8.
Yeah.
We already talked about Rich, 3-11. And then skid marks. Talk about top heavy, man. 3 teams from this division make the playoffs. Nicky earns the number 1 overall seed. He was 11-3. Carl would have been the number 1 overall seed. He would have been 10-4, and he had more points than Nick.
Yeah, that game was crucial.
Now look at the points against difference, because I know you've been harping on this all year. Carl has over 2,000 points against. Nicky's at 1,568. 15. That's over 400. Let's see. 32 and 12 is 44. 444 points. Right? Yeah. 444 points.
Yeah.
Difference. Points against.
That's crazy, dude.
Bro, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Like,
look at the rest of our. Look at everybody else. Jeff had 1929 against. I had 1972 against.
I don't think anybody else had less than 19. Okay, RJ, 1,800. Other than that, everybody else had at least 1,900 points scored on them.
Sure. Yep.
Everyone.
But even then, 1832 to 1568.
Right.
Ooh. Now, Nicky, to his credit, he scored over 2,000 points, which was more than Jeff
Yes.
at 9-5. Jeff ends up at 9-5. He was 4-4 at one point. Remember, he won 4 and then lost 4. So since he's going 5-1.
Hell yeah.
His team's scary going into the playoffs. Very scary. We don't need to talk about Chief Biz. Bing Bong.
Bing bong.
Bing Bong is still in the.
I think Bing Bong still turned around the season. Bing Bong had 4 wins, right?
Yeah. 4-10. 4-10. Where was I? 0-6. So I finished 4-4. Yeah, not terrible. Lost 3 straight at the end. So I was 4-1 at one point, in a little 5-game stretch in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
But 6 losses to 3 playoff teams. I don't deserve shit. My team sucks. I have good names on my team. Players that I think are good players. They just didn't translate into fantasy this year.
Yeah.
And then not having a quarterback all season, that will never happen again.
So I drafted
That'll never happen.
0 RB, right?
Yeah.
And I took that into the 5th round where I picked my first running back. I drafted David Montgomery, Rashad White, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Warren, and Chuba Hubbard that I traded at his peak value for Gibbs.
Yeah.
Right?
And all those guys have more points than my number 1 pick.
Wow.
Number 11.
Yeah. So, if any of you guys want some notes next year on how to do the 0 RB thing, I got your back.
Hey, some years everything you touch turns to gold. So you hit.
Not
and that's
the,
the
not
thing.
the Kyle Pitts that I traded for Raheem Mostert.
No,
But
definitely not.
My track record speaks for itself.
you still battled through that, to your credit. Now,
I started 2-4, dude.
yeah, wow. Well, everyone talks about how those middle rounds are what win you championships or get you in the playoffs, build a good team. It's not the first couple rounds. However, the first couple rounds can kill you. I had Garrett Wilson, my number 2 pick. I just Darren Waller is my 4 pick. Watson was my quarterback. It just, hey, Chris Godwin was in like my top 5 rounds. Those are my picks, dude.
Yeah.
Eckler, Garrett Wilson, round 3. Mixon was round 3.
And Garrett Wilson's so tragic. Like, that's not even his fault.
No, not at all. But that's how the season went for old Biz.
Yeah.
Starts and ends with the draft.
100%.
All right, so moving on. Here we go. Where? You just pull it up. I'll look off of yours because I haven't looked at this. Okay. Playoffs. Here we come. Boys, we are 3 weeks away from crowning a champion in 2023. Could it be Norm? Norm's trying to repeat. He's in there. So Nick and John have buys. So we got 2 matchups to set up here. We got Carl versus Norm. Whew, that's a big one. How are we looking here?
Carl versus Norm. Goff versus Hurts. That's a joke, right?
And Hurts plays Monday night?
Monday night at Seattle. And Goff is playing against the suddenly revitalized Denver defense.
Yeah, but Goff's at home.
Truth. Okay. Pollard and Eckler versus Kamara and Mixon. It's like Spider-Man meme, right? They're the same.
Yeah, that one could go either way.
Right? Okay, so Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, and Josh Palmer
Because
versus Cooper Kupp.
Keenan Allen is out. That's why Palmer's in.
Sure. But who's throwing the ball?
Right. You.
Easton Stick.
Yeah. Like, Where'd he go to school?
I don't know.
Easton Stick. Sounds like was it Cincinnati after Ritter? I don't know.
So,
Anyways.
Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley, Drake London.
Yeah. That's another tough matchup. I mean, with Keenan Allen being out, you almost give the edge to Norm based on, blow up potential. But you don't want to get too caught up in what the Eagles have done over the last 2 weeks because now they're at home, they're at Seattle.
I'm going slight edge Carl.
Okay. And again, you got Amon-Ra at home.
Yeah.
But that takes away from Norm's quarterback, too. So that's where I give an edge to Carl.
Okay.
Hawkinson, Schultz, edge Hawkinson. But again, who's throwing him the ball? You would think there'd be an uptick because there's a strong chance
Big Dick Nick Mullins.
CJ Stroud isn't playing.
Nope.
Because he's in concussion protocol. And that's usually at least 1 week you're out.
Yeah.
Same with Nico Collins. That hurts him for Norm. And George Pickens. And then you got Kareem Hunt and Tyler Algier. I mean, you want to lean towards Norm there, but again, who's playing quarterback?
I'm gonna lean towards Norm here, and
because Mitch is playing quarterback for Pittsburgh.
I mean, okay. Allen's hurt. So I was like, why in the fuck is this dude playing Tyler Algier? That sucks.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't add depth. He's got Kareem Hunt and Algier in there. Scroll down. Who else does he have in his bench?
Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Guyton. Shaheed.
Shaheed might play. He practiced today.
Okay.
And yesterday, I mean.
I'd be playing Shaheed over... Norm's got some depth he could play if he needed to. But yeah, so once it starts reaching the depths, you know what I'm saying? Once you get south of A.J. Brown, I think overall that's an edge for Norm. And what do we have on the defensive matchups?
You got the Miami D versus the Jets. So Miami's at home. And then you have Vegas versus the Chargers. Ooh. And that's tonight. That's the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow. Well, from what I saw out of Stick, it's tough. And the Raiders just shut down Minnesota's offense.
Is Crosby playing?
That's a good question. I don't know.
So if Crosby's playing, I might go edge to the Raiders. If he's not playing, I think I'm going to swing back to the Dolphins there.
Yeah, but the Jets look good in the second half. They put up 30 points in the second half against Houston's D.
Yeah.
In shitty weather.
It is still Zach Wilson.
True. Very true. And I do think that Miami's got a little chip on their shoulder the way the last 3 minutes of that game went against Tennessee.
Right.
They were up 14 with 3 minutes to go, and they lost the game.
All right, feet to the fire. No push bullshit. Who do you got?
I got Carl.
You got Carl?
I got Carl winning this.
I got Norm.
Okay. I think Hurts and AJ have a monster day.
Okay. If Hurts and AJ have a monster day, it's going to be a tough hill to climb for Norm.
Yeah. I don't think it's a big edge. I mean, we're in the playoffs now. Any one of these teams could win.
Right.
But I would lean towards Carl in this matchup.
I'm leaning towards the guy that's not playing Hunt and Algier. That's where I'm heading.
Fair. Again, though, with Stroud being out, that hurts Norm. That's Schultz and Nico Collins.
Right.
So
that fair, but
said.
Norm does have a little bit of depth he can get in there.
True.
He had what?
But are you going to sit Nico Collins in a must-win game, regardless of the quarterback? Probably not.
Nico Collins. Who
are they playing? Who's the Texans playing? At Tennessee. Yeah, come on now. You're going to play those guys. Let's see. Who else does he have on his bench?
Chandler. Charbonnet. Possibly Quentin Johnston in the same. Right? Like it's
no. I would start Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name-wise, Norm has a great team. Similar, but just hasn't put up fantasy numbers this year. And then same thing with Eckler, not having a good quarterback. Like, oh, man. So many questions.
Yeah.
It's one of those you just spray and pray.
For sure. So our other game?
Yeah.
We've got Fields of Vomit.
Who is 9-5.
9-5.
Finished third in his division. He's 9-5 versus a division winner at 8-6. As we were talking about,
Wild, bro.
Jeff has been on a hot streak, kind of under the radar. No one's really been talking about his team.
Yeah.
And he's been putting up points and he's been doing well. Phil, who is domed as of less than 2 weeks ago, team put up 130 last week.
Kyron, he can bump up.
Okay.
Achan, he can bump up. So
Then-
as long as he's got a suitable flex, which
He's got 2-2.
Njoku.
Njoku. Wow. Surprised he wouldn't be starting Njoku. He's had 2 good weeks with Flacco.
I'd be putting Njoku in if Jacobs ain't playing in
For
this
sure.
situation.
For sure. All right, so we got Justin Fields at Cleveland. Tough matchup with the weather. Dak Prescott in the weather at Buffalo. Fantasy-wise.
God. This could legitimately go either way.
Yeah.
If Fields rushes for
70 and a touch.
or 80 and 2, it could be Fields like that. Right.
But I have a feeling
Fields has looked a lot better since he came back from this injury.
But I give the Dallas-Buffalo game more of a chance to be a shootout than the Chicago-Cleveland game.
Fair.
So I'd go edge Dak.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Again, you're right, though. Fields could have a 75-yard rushing touchdown in one play.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it.
And Cleveland's defense has not been as strong the last couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Where they were the first 10 weeks of the year. Breece Hall, they're at Miami. And Connor, home against San Francisco, coming off a bye.
Against Zach Moss and call it Kyron Williams.
Okay. Zach Moss and Kyron Williams. It's still Breece Hall and Connor to me.
We still have no Jonathan Taylor for sure, right?
Right, but they're playing. Well, Pittsburgh's been terrible against the run.
Kyron may be the one dude that coming into the year I was the absolute lowest on. Like he was a free agent. Like, and I laughed at somebody for spending.
Yeah.
And then calling him CMC Junior.
He wasn't even the starter.
Right. It was Cam Akers, right? Coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone thought Akers was going to be the starter.
So I big miss on Kyron. Big miss on Kyron.
We all swung a miss on that.
Yeah.
Jacobs is out. That's huge. It's a huge hole to fill for Phil, I think.
Yeah, but
not that huge because Njoku comes in. Yeah, Njoku comes in. That's who I would start. Wide receivers. Where are we looking?
All right, wide receivers. We got Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, and Garrett Wilson versus DK Metcalf, Mike Pittman, and CeeDee Lamb. That's a slugfest here, huh?
Yeah. Well, now you got to break it down. So you got Lamb at Buffalo. We already talked about that, which, again, Lamb takes points away from Dak. Michael Pittman playing against Pittsburgh. DK Metcalf on that Monday night game where you would expect Seattle to be down. It's a good chance. And you can throw against Philly.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson in Miami. Garrett Wilson just seems to be matchup proof. It's his problem's the quarterback. You know, he's still 8 for 100 every week. Ayuk is a solid play against Arizona. Mike Evans had a bad week last week, which means
25 points this week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he'll have 100 yards and a touch this week.
Yeah, like this is crazy. This is tight as fuck, man.
And the Green Bay Tampa Bay game is huge for playoffs.
Do you know why? The only reason I give edge Jeff in this, because I love, like, these are very, very evenly matched, but I see more touchdown potential on Jeff's side.
Okay.
Than I see on Phil's.
Fair.
And I mean, that's in my opinion, that's splitting hairs, right? That's looking for a reason.
So. No, I don't disagree, but Mike Evans and Ayuk they could each have 2.
So we got McBride versus Ferguson. I think that's a fucking push, right?
Yeah.
McBride, San Fran, Ferguson, and Buffalo, both in.
Yeah. I'd say they both could get 65 in a touch.
All right, and then we got Kyron, or we got Achan and.
Let's call it Njoku.
And Njoku. What's Achan's situation?
He missed practice Wednesday. It's a rest day.
Okay, I was checking on today.
No, he's playing.
Okay. All right, so Achan and Njoku versus McLaurin and Gibson. God.
I don't know.
I think I'm going to go Achan and Njoku. But
I would
God,
too.
Not by much.
I would too.
Especially if Brian
Ram-
Robinson doesn't play.
Yeah. And also that Rams-Washington game surprisingly could become a little bit of a shootout.
Yeah. Easily. Easily.
Very much so. But
So,
Phil's got Kyron, and Kyron could win him the week.
yep. 100%.
So could Njoku, honestly. Like, Flacco loves the tight end.
Yo, Njoku loves Flacco.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, that 30-yard touchdown he had this week, Njoku's just running a crossing pattern and caught it and just – he's so athletic. I'm surprised they don't try to get him the ball more,
Yeah.
in the early part of the season. Okay, Saints D against the Giants.
Yep.
I don't love that.
No, don't love it. It's not the worst, but
No.
don't love it. And then
San Francisco at Arizona with Kyler. I don't love that either.
yeah,
I
I'll
see
take
this.
that.
I see this as a trap game for San Francisco.
Maybe it is. Then.
One, they're on the
Then I'll
road.
be wrong, but I'm thinking that this is an edge San Francisco.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I'm just saying. I think Kyler can put up points against that defense, and the Giants aren't going to put up a lot of points, but I think they're going to be careful with the ball, unless Saquon's running down the sideline and trips over the 25-yard line again.
Right.
What the fuck
Christ.
was he doing? Anyways, that's why I have gray hair.
Yeah, no doubt. So once you actually throw Njoku's couple of points in to the projections, we're only off by like a point on the bullshit projections.
Yeah,
So
this one's another tough one.
this is a tough one.
But going with my gut, I have to say Phil.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. Jeff's team is on the upward trend.
I'm taking McKeever on the heater.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just looking at this logically. I think based on the matchups, even if Jacobs doesn't play, I'm giving a slightest edge because I don't want to say push. I'm going to say Phil because I don't know, though, because CeeDee Lamb and Dak, he's got Ferguson. Oh, man. I'm giving the edge to Kyron Williams. I think Kyron Williams is going to have a monster day. Mike Evans on the bounce back, and then that San Francisco D. That's where I give the edge.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
All right. Yeah, it's a tight.
It could totally flip-flop. CD could go off, DK could go off, Michael Pittman could go off, and Field can go off.
Right.
I mean, that's why Jeff's in the playoffs. He's got a great team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think both these matchups, man, I'm glad I'm not a betting man when it comes to the matchups because these are close lines. Very, very evenly matched teams going head up.
For sure.
And so the winners then would face either you or Nick
Yep.
in the next round.
I get McKeever Phil,
Okay.
and he gets Carl Norm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
who's your pick?
What, to win it all?
Who's winning it?
Nick.
Nick?
No.
Oh, my God.
I don't think so. So if Carl gets past Norm, Carl's going to the championship because the Giants play the Eagles next week.
Okay.
I think it's going to be you and Carl in the championship. And I don't know the matchups that far out to make a pick on who wins it. But that would be where I... How do your matchups look next week?
Not as good as this week.
Yeah.
This did you see my
Yeah, you
they're
showed
like
me.
glowing green, man.
High 20s.
I almost wish I didn't have a bye this week.
High 20s. All
Yeah.
your matchups.
Yeah, it was crazy. My big worry week 16 is and I'm not even that worried because I can't be. It's Lamar and they're playing San Francisco. So
But Lamar shows up for
Lamar's-
big games.
Right, and that's like
Where's the game?
I think San Francisco.
Okay. which might be a benefit because Baltimore's weather this time of year sucks.
At San Francisco.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
That's my only real concern.
So if you weren't picking your own team, because obviously we know who you're rooting for, who would you pick out of the other 5 teams based on how the playoffs, the bracket lined up?
McKeever on a heater.
Okay. Yeah, he has the one wild card in Justin Fields.
Right.
Fields went for 40 2 weeks ago, 26 or almost 27 against me last week.
And it feels like if he's playing like this, that 27's like his floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah. He, in my opinion, like he definitely has the one wild card. You know, I don't know. I give Phil the slight edge this week. Maybe to give McKeever's team a little motivation. Busy talking shit, you know, like, oh, we got to prove him wrong. But
he's gonna go in like Brady and be like, "Did you hear what they said about us?
Yeah,
it was all good. Fuck them."
Yeah. Yo, Busy talking shit. The strictly business fantasy football podcast. The fuck. And I know he's gonna listen to this. He's gonna text me and be like, "Bro, what the fuck's that all about? Like, come on." Hey, just saying, based on the matchups, how I see things playing out, I don't know.
I hear you.
Fields is the wild card, though. And I hate to say it, but Dallas is due for a bad week, which means Dak is due for a bad week at Buffalo. Cannot be excited. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's out this week.
All right.
That was a notification I just got. So, anyways, good luck to the teams that are in it. We will recap the first round of the playoffs next week. We'll
maybe next week I have the kids. Christmas week.
Yeah. Well, we could do it during the day again, if you want. We could squeeze in.
Okay.
Hour and a half.
Sure.
Even if it's like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
To Wednesday or Thursday. Scroll just real quick. Let's just touch on who's in the loser bowl bracket. So RJ's the 1 seed. Dave's the 2 seed. You got me and Ryan going head up this week, and then you got Rich and Ricky going head up this week. The winner of me and Ryan will face RJ. The winner of Rich and Ricky will face Dave. How are you feeling there? What are your thoughts? Just overall, who do you think's going to win the loser bowl? We're not even breaking it down. We're not looking at matchups. Who's got
RJ or Dave?
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, I mean,
they have the 2 best teams.
Yeah, it would take a lot for anybody that's playing this week to
luckily
overcome them.
For Dave, Stroud's out this week most likely, so he's sitting on a bye. He gets into the semifinals, possibly win $100. So, all right, set your lineups.
Yeah, everybody.
High week is still available.
Woohoo!
All right.
Biz, any parting thoughts?
No, it's an exciting time of year. Certainly, holidays are right around the corner. A week from Monday is Christmas. 2 weeks from that day is New Year's. There's a lot of fun stuff. Good college football. UConn basketball shaping up. We got a big game at Gonzaga tomorrow night, and then Big East regular season starts. So yeah, get excited. I know you're fired up for that. You got hockey in full swing right now. Avs are doing well. How are the Canes?
Nah, they're on the outside looking in right now. They've got some goaltending issues. They weren't in the best of situations goaltending wise, and their number one just got the blood clotting issue that kicked out Chris Bosch of the league, basically.
Oh shit!
So don't know if we have a goalie or not.
Boy.
And like our top prospect goalie is like a minor league hothead. Like he gets in fights all the time and shit. Like there's actually a clip of him a couple of games ago where this dude had a penalty shot and he starts, back at the red line, starts out with the puck, coming across, and dude just jets out of the net and throws his stick, not at the puck, at his feet. So the guy trips over him, but he knocked the puck out too.
Is that legal?
he may have actually touched the puck before
Okay.
skate, so maybe.
I've never seen.
And
anything
then,
like
apparently the guy who got knocked over turned around. He was the captain of the Senators, and he got up and started yapping, and the goalie was like, yeah, fuck you, come get some.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the team needs.
Hey, I love the guy.
Yeah. There you go. A little Tommy DeVito for the Canes.
There he
You
is.
know. All right.
Little Russian Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. Same thing. He probably doesn't speak much English,
Yeah.
but
I don't need him. I just need him to stop pucks.
you need the fire though. You need the
Yeah.
intensity. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go Giants. Let's rip apart the Eagles. I fucking hate the Eagles.
Go get him.
All right.
Please. Good
See ya.
seeing you.
Yeah. You too.
And everybody else, good luck unless you're playing me, you fuckers.